more into the solution side of the things. So the analysis design done, what next we can do? So we will be choosing one kind of an agent, and for that agent, we will be learning how to design a complete solution that can solve certain types of AI problems. Now, once this word comes to your mind, this is the other half of your syllabus module 1. So, although the book chapter 3 we are looking at right now, and we are starting off today the journey into this chapter, this is a very, I can say, large chapter as such, because it is comprising of 1.5 module of your entire syllabus. So we will be finishing off, after finishing this chapter, 1.5 module of your entire syllabus. Not, in fact, not 1.5, 2.5, or rather I should say. So 2.5 module of your syllabus is revolving around this chapter number 3 from the book, AI Modern Approach, by the author Russell Norvig. Okay, so let us begin and dive into uh, the understanding of what we are supposed to learn in this chapter. In this chapter, we are supposed to start looking at a particular kind of an agent, and that kind of an agent is called as problem solving agent. Now you'll say that already we looked at 5 different kinds of agent. We also looked at a themed agent called as learning agent, which was the 6th kind of agent program. What is this, and how is this different from whatever we learned earlier? Now when it comes to a goal based agent, generally we talk about reaching a particular set of goals is what the agent is always thinking of or always striving to do. And problem solving agent is kind of a further mature representation of a goal based agent. So when we looked at agent architecture in previous chapter, when we looked at the organization of components over there, they were more generic in a sense that there were no precise steps given to us to realize what was going around. We just had questions like how the world is evolving, what my actions would do, etc., etc. All those were kind of the questions that you generally ask when you're analyzing a scenario. But when it comes to coming up with a solution for a given problem, you require precisely how these questions are going to be handled inside a computer program. Now, problem solving agent is one such conversion of problems goal based agent which allows you to handle certain kinds of AI problems. So please understand that the problem solving agent is not a generic agent. It's not a generic solution. It does not give a generic AI solution. It does not give you a generic solution. Or rather, you can't build a generic solution based on themes that you learn in this chapter. Okay, whatever problems you are going to solve using a problem solving agent, they are typically structured problem. They are typically problem which have a firm set of rules, and the problems that have certain kind of agent environment. Okay, so there are limitations to the problem solving agent. Okay, although we are just started off learning this agent type, okay, I am precisely telling you that this is not going to be a solution or AI based solution, or we are not going to learn an AI based solution that can be applied to any AI problem. Okay, we need to first look at the problem, the real world situation for which we are going to build AI, and decide upon whether problem solving agent is applicable in for that particular scenario or not. Because only for certain scenarios or certain types of environment, if they are, then only the AI, then only the problem solving agent can be used for solving such problems. Okay, so let us look at what the book says. The book says that problem solving agents use atomic representation for the states. Okay, they are goal based agent. They use atomic representation for states. State of the world are considered as whole. This is internal structure visible to problem solving algorithms. So what we are going to do here is, for any problems environment, we are going to model model the environment in terms of a representation in a program that will be referred to as a state. So please understand that we are going to use the state representation of any particular environment. Again, the goal-based agents that use more advanced factored or structured representation are usually called planning problems. Now, this thing actually we did not cover in the previous chapter. So 2.4.7, since it is not in your syllabus, I have not covered, but in general, I'll just give you a brief about what exactly they are talking about. What this particular section talks about, 2.4.7 of this book, is they say that the representation of environment can be represented in three different ways. One is atomic way of representation, another is factored way of representation, and the third one is I'm not remembering the third one, but there is one more representation. We are not bothered about learning them because that's not there in our syllabus, but you should know what do you mean by atomic representation. Means what? The environment can be represented in terms of a computer representation, like what we do when we represent a class, for that matter, or what we do when we represent some data structure. For that data structure, what we have is we have certain name to call that data structure of, then we have certain properties that enlist that are represented as variables and value pairs. So every variable will have certain domain, and if I collect all the variables and their corresponding values for that class, okay, it will be representing some real world situation or real world representation. So that is the view that we should restrict ourselves to, and that view is called as atomic because every state, the capturing of the state information through the class or through the data structure that we can use to represent the real world situation scenario will be an atomic representation, will not change over or will not have a variability or the what you say, uncertainty in the representation. Every variable will have a certain value from a certain domain fixed to it, and once I fix a value to all the variables in the class or the data structure, that data structure variable or instance variable, as we call it, as, or object, if it is a class object oriented program we are talking about, then that is atomic in nature. Okay, so that is what we mean. So we are considering in a way the state of the environment as a block, okay, an unchangeable block of set of properties, and that is why we are saying that it is atomic. It's not further divisible. I may not say that for once I use certain variables to represent state of the environment while I'm solving a problem, and some other instance in while solving the same problem, I represent the state differently. For example, I'll just write some example over here so that you'll understand. Say suppose to represent some some state of an environment S1, I require to elaborate three attributes. So I'm writing it as ATTR to represent the attribute. So I may require three attributes which define a state for an environment. Okay. So throughout, if I'm using this representation of state for solving while solving a problem or constructing a solution, throughout my solution, state of the environment will always be represented using these three attribute values only. There won't be any fourth attribute that can dynamically be added, or any one of the attribute or more than one of the attribute removed from the definition of state of the environment. And that is what this atomic word means. Okay, I invested a lot of time in unnecessary thing because the book is open. अगर मैं slides दिखाता तो ये सब discussion में आता ही नहीं, but it's okay. You should understand the word atomic. What does it mean? So atomic word means the state is like a block, and that block is composed of fixed set of attributes which will not change over the solution per se. So when you are solving the problem, the state representation remains consistent as it is. Okay, if you are using three attributes to represent a state, it will remain three attributes to represent the state. Okay, yeah, my voice is reachable. I just checking. I did not mute myself. Okay, the next thing that we need to understand is, so I'm not talking about factored and structured representation. I'm deferring to talk about it till our module number 5, I guess. So planning we'll be learning in module number 5 or 4. I'm not sure about it right now. But any one of the module when we discuss, we'll talk about what does factored representation or a structured representation of state means. Okay. Now they say that so problem solving जो agent है उसका discussion कहाँ से शुरू हो गया होगा. So we'll be first talking about what is a problem. Okay, this problem is AI problem. So we'll be talking about what is an AI problem. So when do I call a thing as an AI problem? Okay, then we'll talk about how to solve such problems. If I want to solve the AI problems, what are the methods to solve it? Further in the chapter, as we move to module number 2, we'll be talking about how the problem solving agent solves the AI problem using search algorithms. So we'll be applying search algorithms, okay, which is generally referred to as state space search algorithm. And there are two distinct kinds of state space search algorithm that we are going to study, and they are there in our syllabus as well. One is one is uninformed search, and the other one is informed search. So this is the theme of the set of lectures that are about to come in your way. So we'll be talking about what do you mean by AI problem, how the AI problem is represented before it is solved. Then once I represent the AI problem and it is ready for application of solution, a solution technique we are going to learn, which is called as search algorithms based solution. And that search algorithm based solution, when we learn two distinct kinds of search algorithms. One is called as uninformed search algorithms, and the other one is called as informed search algorithms. So this is what is going to come along our way. Now, please